Sometimes you think you have it all figured out. You're working hard, you're saving money, and you're building a nice little life for yourself. You feel like you're doing everything right. You feel secure. And then something happens. Something unexpected. It makes you realize that what you thought was a solid foundation was really just a house of cards. A strong wind could knock it all down. That's what happened to me. I thought I was on the right track. I was saving every penny. I had real estate that was going up in value. I looked at the numbers, and I felt rich. I really did. I saw my net worth on paper. It looked good, and I was proud. But then the market shifted. The value of my properties didn't just stop going up. It started going down. The financial world changed, and suddenly my assets weren't working for me anymore. They were a liability. I had to face the facts. My supposed wealth wasn't real. It wasn't money. It was just an idea, a fantasy. I had plenty of assets, but no liquidity. I couldn't pay my bills. My investments were frozen. I was asset rich but cash poor. I learned a tough lesson. True money isn't about what you own. It's about what you can access. It's the cash in your hand. It's the money in your bank account. It's the liquidity that protects you. It protects your assets when the world turns upside down. It's what you need to survive a crisis. My next story will feel familiar to many of you. I had this great idea. I was going to be an entrepreneur. I had the vision, I had the passion, I had everything I thought I needed. I even had a great business plan. But I kept hitting walls. People told me it would never work. They said I was being foolish. They said I was being naive. And I listened. It's so easy to listen to the doubts of others. It's so easy to let their fear become your own. So I gave up. I abandoned my plan. I went back to a safer path, a path with less risk, and I spent years regretting it. Years of what-ifs, years of wishing I had just stuck with it. I learned a lot from that failure. I learned about the second key to real success. It's not about having a good idea, it's about having conviction. It's about being able to stand firm. It's about believing in your idea. Even when everyone else tells you you're crazy. It's about having the endurance to see it through. The world is full of good ideas. Everyone has them. But very few people have the conviction to follow through. They get swayed by the whispers of the crowd. The critics, the naysayers, the doomsayers. They let those voices get in their head, and they give up before they even have a chance to succeed. The most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the ones with the strongest convictions. They write their plans down. They make their goals tangible. They look at their notes. They remind themselves of their purpose. They don't forget their vision. It's their conviction that keeps them going. It's their strength of will. This next concept is probably the hardest. It's also the most important. It's about patience. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want everything now. We want to be successful overnight. We want to be rich in a week. We want to see results immediately, but that's not how the real world works. Not with investing, not with building a business, not with anything worthwhile. True success takes time. It takes effort. It takes a lot of waiting. It requires you to have a strong stomach. You have to be able to endure the dips. You have to be able to ride out the storms. You have to wait for the market to come back around. You have to wait for the right opportunity to appear. Like, think about a farmer. They don't plant a seed and expect a harvest the next day. They plant it, they water it, they tend to it, and they wait. They wait for the sun. They wait for the rain. They wait for the seasons to change. And eventually, they get their harvest. The stock market is the same way. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long-term game. The author of this book said it best. He said, "The stock market is not seen with the head, but with the buttocks." That's a funny way of putting it, but it means that success requires you to sit and wait. It requires endurance. You have to be patient enough to stay in your seat. You have to be patient enough to ride out the fluctuations. You have to be patient enough to wait for your plan to come to fruition. And finally, we have luck. Luck is the wild card. It's the thing you can't control. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the conviction and all the patience. But then a global pandemic hits, or a war starts, or a natural disaster changes everything. You can't predict it. You can't plan for it. The author of this book, the legendary investor Andrei Kostolany, even admitted that. He said that some things like volatility are beyond our control. This is both a scary thought and a freeing one. It's a reminder that we can't control everything. We can do all the right things. We can follow all the right rules, and still, things can go wrong. But it's also a reminder that we shouldn't be afraid to take chances. We shouldn't live in fear of the unpredictable. We should embrace it. We should be willing to take risks, because without risk, there is no reward. I'll share a personal story with you. I was a professional saver. My entire life, my focus was on saving money. Every month, I put money away. I cut every corner. I lived on the tightest budget imaginable. I never went out to eat. I never took vacations. I never bought anything new. I saved up what I thought was a significant amount of money. I had a nice little nest egg. But I realized something. This strategy wasn't making me truly rich. It was just making me a professional saver. It was making me limited. It was making me live a small life. My whole life was driven by fear. Fear of losing what I had. Fear of being unstable. Fear of not having enough. I was so afraid of a financial hiccup that I never allowed myself to live. And I broke down crying when I realized this. The tears were for all the things I had missed, all the experiences I had denied myself, all the risks I was too afraid to take. I was living my life as if I had everything to lose. But I didn't. I had nothing to lose. I was young. I had my health. I had my energy. I had my potential. I had so many opportunities. And I was wasting them all. Wasting them because of my fear. My fear of what I might lose. My fear of things I didn't even have yet. This is especially true for young people. Young people have nothing to lose. They should embrace the volatility. They should embrace the chances. They shouldn't live as if they have everything to lose. They should live as if they have everything to gain. And that's the final lesson. Don't let your fears limit you. Don't let the fear of loss stop you from gaining. Don't be a professional saver. Be a professional doer. Be a professional risk taker. Be a professional believer. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ideas. Be patient. Be convicted. And be ready to embrace the unpredictable, because that's where the real rewards are. That's where the real life is.